Let me now bring in Joshua Skule, who is a former senior executive at the FBI. Josh, it's always good to have you on the show, but I'm sorry today it's under these circumstances. You take a look at the videos from yesterday, and it's unimaginable. The crowd of people that were there, 3,000 of them, recording this event. Are you surprised that authorities don't have anybody in custody this morning yet?
Markie, I'm not. I mean, the chaos that ensued after a shooting, and especially after just a single shot, was certainly a planned event from a good distance away. The chaos that ensued, it would be easy to escape in a crowd like that. The security, while robust around Charlie, was not that of what you would have at a political event. So you didn't have really an outer perimeter or police officers on the outside of the crowd looking and scanning for something like this.
Were you surprised by that? Because as this was breaking yesterday and all of the footage started to come in real time, to your point, we know that he travels with a detail. You can see a couple of them in front of him in that white tent. But in all the videos, you don't see a swarm of security going into the crowd. Did it shock you, kind of the lack of visible security that we saw in a lot of this footage, sir?
Well, that's dependent on a couple of factors. How were the threats that he was receiving communicated with law enforcement? Often, the law enforcement will deploy what they believe to be the requisite amount of resources. There's a lot of factors that go into this, and not every event can have, 150 police officers there for a private event. And a lot of times that, unfortunately, falls to the individual speaker, which, unfortunately, the ugly truth of that, cost matters.
Yeah, when we were told, too, by authorities yesterday at some of those press conferences that there were some plainclothes officers there as well. Talk to me about just the avalanche of evidence that investigators are going to pour through now with everybody recording, everybody who was there. I mean, you would think surely somebody caught this shooter on camera, even if they don't know it yet.
I think that's accurate. I think you have to not just the video evidence, but the witness statements. Likely that contributed to some of these individuals preliminarily being detained or arrested. So now it goes through putting all of that video together, often stringing different video clips to get a complete picture and then identifying. We dealt with this many years ago in the Boston bombing when the perpetrators were unknown. So the resources and the intensity and the volume is going to be important. And that, unfortunately, although technology is advanced, it still comes down to individuals going through those video clips and then conducting those interviews.
Yeah. And where do you think that shot most likely came from? Because you look at the layout of yesterday, he's in the white tent, he's on the quad, everybody's in front of him, but kind of amphitheater style, I mean, surrounded by buildings. Do you think it came from an elevated source on top of one of those buildings rather than right there in front of him?
Judging by the video clips we've seen and NewsNation has reported on, you can see where people turn, and likely that's where the shot came from. Further, there's a video clip out there of a darkened individual looks to be laying down prone on top of that building, which would make sense for a shot like that. And certainly they're likely from that distance you had to have a rifle. So that, I think it did happen from there. I do think this was planned. Who it is and what their training was is unknown at this time.
Yeah. Lastly, just before I let you go, Josh, you have a community that's nervous. This shooter still hasn't been found. You have parents who are worried for their children who attend this school. Your guidance or words of advice, safety-wise, as the manhunt now enters day 2?
Well, as a father of 4 children, I can certainly identify with that level of anxiety and being concerned about your children. This shooter, this perpetrator, he's trying to get away. He's trying to evade. So I don't believe that there is an ongoing and enduring threat to the university or the students there. I think this person is either amongst the student population, left via the terrain, or drove out of the area.
Well, we know we're expecting another press conference later today. Of course, we'll be taking that live, see what new information we learn then. Josh Skule, thank you so much, sir, for your time and expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.